Good morning, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today, we're out on some more Kentucky 31. This fescue. This is on one of our lease farms. We've had this one for, I guess, around 15 years. And when we got it, it was a lot of ragweed, moss, and cedars. And we gave this farm this is the farm we gave a sabbatical for a year. So we leased it. We didn't do anything with it. It was so bad in shape, there just wasn't anything I had to feed an animal. And so, I get this question. Some people say, well, Greg, I've got this farm. It's chewed down to dirt. It's been overgrazed. How do I get into a rotation program starting from that? Well, if you've got deep pockets, you can go buy hay and start unrolling hay on that degraded land. You don't have to worry too much about them overgrazing the plants because there's nothing there. But another way, a cheaper way, more economical, is just to give the plants and the ground a sabbatical. Give it a rest period. Just let it grow back. And you don't have to do it for a whole year. You can do it for 3 months of the growing season, or whatever you can afford. Let something grow back to give you some carbon to work with. But look at this bull. This is our first, we were here 60 days ago in October. We're in December 15th today. And see, he's just taking the green there, just the very tip sticking out. He's getting a little bit of brown there. Got him a little bit of brown. And they're also searching for the candy bars. He's on candy right now. And what that was, is he got him some of this. He got him some green clover here a week before Christmas. He reached down and got him some beautiful red clover. And, I got a good friend, and it's not that I don't want to do business with him, but he called me yesterday if I needed some red clover seed. I know you kind of picky about that. And I'm like, yeah, we're not picky. We just don't put it down. We don't need to put it down anymore. And that's because we're focusing on the plants, letting them get mature in the fall, get that good hard seed on them. You don't have to seed clover anymore. Folks, that's a huge cost savings. Have y'all priced red clover seed today? It's not cheap. It's not cheap. And you got to put down a minimum of 3 pounds to get an inkling of a stand. And some of the people recommend 7 to 8 pounds. Well, my gosh, at $3 to $5 a pound, that's going to run into some money right quick. We've got clover and we didn't seed it. Nature seeded that. That's because right here's some of the old plants. There's a seed head. It's lost all the seed. We've already got our seeding down for next year. That's because these plants got a chance to put on a black seed head this fall. Look at that. Oh, people just really get mad at Kentucky 31. Folks, there is no better feed in the wintertime. And it's wet out here. Those 1,000-pound cows, there's about a 1,000-pound bull. He's not leaving any pug marks. People say, what do you do in the winter when it gets wet and cold? You put them in a barn? Absolutely not. That's a great way to go broke. Keep the animals out on the land. Just feeding them hay in a barn all winter. What are you going to do with all that crap that they put in there? Well, you got to haul it back out if you're going to use it to grow grass. Or you can let the animals harvest that right there on the ground where it was grown. That's a pretty novel idea, especially if you want to make money. These I say little, they're 1,000, 1,100-pound cows. There's some heifers in here, probably 800 right now. They don't eat a lot of this. Now see, there's my deepest pug mark, and that's probably one of our bigger cows. This cow here probably go 1,000, 1,050. See, look at this. That's her pug mark right there. And I'm telling you, what is that? Yeah, inch. It's an inch deep. If that was an 1,800-pound cow, forget it. I could take my whole fist and stick it down in that hole and probably go clear to my elbow. Folks, that's called plowing your farm. And that's exactly what's going to happen. big animals on soft ground. There's a couple of bulls playing. They're joshing with each other, just playing. We don't get any bad bullfights, and that's because they're together pretty much all the time. They've been born together. You'll see these little guys out here jostling like that when they're just 2-3 weeks old. That's why we don't have any bullfights. I used to have some terrible bullfights when I took the bulls out and just had 2 or 3 bulls, but there's 40-some bulls in here, and they just don't fight. See, they went back to eating again. No fighting. And there's cows in heat in here. There was 2 this morning, and they've got a whole group of suitors following them around here. So I guarantee you they will not be open. If the cow's open, it sure isn't the bull's fault. It's because there's multiple bulls out here. Look how shiny that little calf is right there. Man, is he shiny? Look at that. Shiny hair equals healthy animals, period. Shiny hair, healthy animals. Look at that. Just a really, really, really shiny calf. But even that little calf, he's only, let's see, 996. Heck, he's not much over 6 weeks old, and he's eating. His mama taught him what to eat. He absolutely did. All these calves, all these little calves are eating. There's another young calf. There's another one. There's another one. They're all eating grass. Doing good on grass. You just like to see animals, you know, they're getting a good selection here. So this is, you might say, our first pass in the winter, and we're not making them take this down. These cattle are just taking the candy out, and we'll be back here again in 60 days. So here's the formula that I use. When you give them your first pass on the pasture, you can give them a fairly small area of it because it's really high quality, and they're going to go here. They're not going to need very much. They're going to take the candy out of here today. Now, when I come back here in 60 days, the candy's been plucked out of here, the good stuff. So I'm going to need to give them a bigger area on the second pass. But when I come back here in 60 days, there's still going to be a ton of grass left here. It's just not going to have quite as much energy in it. That's because it's been grazed. It saw a lot more cold weather. There's not as many green plants. But, you know, this is just perfect, folks. Heck, I mean, we're getting down into single digits, and we still got green grass. So those of you all in the fescue belt all the way to the East Coast, you better be embracing this stuff. I know it can be a bear in the summertime if you just got a pure stand of it, but we don't have a pure stand of it. Keep some clover in there, and fescue is your friend. You'll learn to make a lot of money with fescue. But you got to get the right animals. Some animals won't perform on it. Get rid of those. Keep the ones that do. There's an animal performing on it. There's another one. There's a little guy, he's performing on it. But they're just taking the top. See that? That cow's not going very deep. She's just getting the very tips of those plants. And some of those tips are brown. But it tastes good to her because it's clean. It's been washed off by rain. It's had freeze-thaw on it. It's had time to get the animal smell off of it. You see, this was grazed 60 days ago. Folks, everybody's feeding hay. Everybody's feeding hay. Putting money out of their pocket, and they could be doing this instead. Why aren't more people doing this? Well, it's because it does take a little planning. It takes a little bit of polywire, some reels, and it takes a little bit of time to roll it out. But it sure doesn't take as much time to do this as it does to put up hay, haul the hay in, roll the hay out, buy the hay, feed the hay, whatever. Start the tractor up. All we did was move a polywire this morning. Our herd's growing. We had 2 more calves the other day. I think we're at 2. So we're at 289. So we're 2. Duh, plus 2, 291. And they're eating. They're feeding themselves. So super high quality forage. And we found out years ago the fescue, actually the endophyte in it goes down as the winter progresses, and so it's really high quality feed. Whole lot better than feeding hay. And do y'all hear any bawling? There's no bawling going on out here. Not a barn, not a tractor started. The animals are feeding themselves. We're keeping the money in our pocket where we can make a good living. We don't owe anybody else a good living, folks. We need to make a living. We need to keep the money on the farm. Quit sending your money to town. You don't need to do that, but you got to get the right animals, the right management, and it sure helps to have some fescue in the wintertime. It's the biggest money saver there is on the farm for a winter feed. Love it. Folks, I'm going to get off here. We're going to go put in some more paddocks this morning, and that'll be our feed for the weekend. On Friday, we put up all of our paddocks for the whole week. For the whole weekend, and that way we just move a wire and nobody's out here doing any physical work. We're just feeding the animals, because I get tickled, people come here, or some of our interns, the new ones, and like, well, it's the weekend, we get the weekend off. I'm like, well, yeah, we do. We're not going to do any work, but we still have to move the animals morning and night. Nobody can move them except for us. It's not a 9 to 5, 5-day-a-week job. It is a 7-day-a-week job. So, yeah, but, it takes 30 minutes to roll wire up in the morning. Plus, you get to spend a beautiful 30 minutes with your cows on Saturday and Sunday morning and evenings. That's prime time of my day. Anyway, everyone have a great weekend, and this is Greg Judy signing off.